let's look at the buckets. Let's look at the garden. And I'll show you what worked really good this year, what little areas that, and show you what isn't working. Maybe what you can do about it. Alright, I'm starting off by showing you these plants that I didn't grow. That's my first story of what went wrong this spring. A couple of weeks ago, when we were having nights that were getting down to freezing and below, I had a pane blow out of my greenhouse and froze everything in it. So I had to drop back and punt. Bought some tomato plants and some marigolds so I can start getting some things set out. And of course I have my wife's ratty plant that she tries to kill every winter, and then I revive through the summer. Okay, one thing on tomato plants I was really happy with. I bought 6. I bought 2 that are Rutgers. Now that's a semi-determinate I've grown a lot of times. And they just do well just about anywhere. They're just a good standard tomato. The 2 in the middle are an improved bush type tomato, which I take to be a determinate. I'm going to put those into the buckets. The 2 on the right, which actually look kind of sorry for themselves, those are my favorite. Golden Jubilee, which you don't see a lot anymore. They make a nice big yellow tomato. They really taste good. And I've had really good luck with them in the past. So the Rutgers and the Golden Jubilee are going in the garden, and the bush ones are going in the buckets. And so no more ado, let's go look at the buckets. Giving you a nice view of my grass that needs mowing and marigolds are dandelions that are everywhere at this point. All right, I'm going to start off with what went pretty well, and that is the lettuces. This is green lettuce. It came out fantastic. This is a red, kind of spotty, but it came up and it's starting to fluff up and look good. Those did okay. Now here's the really bad. This is the radishes, and I got the sun in the wrong place. It's kind of hard to give you a good look without my shadow being in the way. I apologize. They did not do well. I only had about 5 come up. I think what happened is, with the spring that would, or the winter that wouldn't die that we had, I think what happened is the seeds would start to germinate, and then it would get freezing cold at night, and they'd stop and they'd try to restart, and basically the seeds run out of energy. No big deal. I'm going to drop back and punt. I'm going to go ahead and get the cucumbers started in the seeds planted, and the bush squash, and we'll just let it go from there. So it'll be okay. We just kind of have to drop back and punt. And here's the last, the sugar snap peas. This one is doing pretty good. This one looks a little stunty. I think they'll recover. We'll just have to see. The rest of the garden, I planted corn in this bed. Doesn't seem to be up yet. No, I lie. I planted green beans in that, and nothing's up yet. I put the corn here. Nothing's up yet. But they're planted, and I'm sure I don't have any problems there. Now this bed. This is one reason you don't use straw. I planted, this row is beets, and you can see that the straw keeps reshuffling and growing over the row. There's a beet there, so it's kind of suffocating them out. Consequently, the row in the middle that I planted carrots, I'm not seeing anything there. The row on this side, spinach, there's a few little patches where it's coming up, and places where, here again, the straw shuffled, covered it up, smothered it. And the wife's strawberries, which are starting to bloom, doing okay. There's a few weeds there that need pulled out. The strawberries are coming up everywhere around the beds also. So, I don't know if you can see, there's some there that are up next to that dandelion. Out in the grass, in my wood chip paths, they're just growing nuts. So I'll have to do something about that. But anyway, hopefully the season improves. Alright. Alright, well, there it is for the year. I apologize, I forgot the asparagus. It's actually blooming right now. It's doing fine. That stuff, once you get it started, seems indestructible. The one thing I guess I want to put forth today is gardening works this way. Thanks to the weather does not always do what you want it to do or what you expect it to do. And you just can't get upset. You just have to roll back and punt. We were going to let the radishes grow full term and then go in with the squash and the other stuff. Well, because of the cold weather, the nasty spring, you know, I can leave those little radishes out there to see if they go ahead and mature and just plant in the middle of it. Go ahead and put in my cucumber seeds. Go ahead and put in my seeds for my bush squash. Let that start. The sugar snap peas are going to take much longer than I expected because of the fact that of the weather. That's okay. I can tuck a tomato plant in one edge, in one corner. By the time the tomato needs the whole bucket, the peas should be done. You just have to drop back, be ready to adapt. Be ready to say, okay, this didn't work, well fine, let's go do that. Your greenhouse didn't work out this year, okay, went and bought a few plants. Nobody's gonna die, I'm still gonna have tomatoes. That's what you gotta learn. Just be positive, be happy. This is, after all, this is our hobby. This is what we do for fun. Don't let it upset you. Just roll with the punches. Do what the next thing you have to do to get the garden going for this year. I never have a perfect year. It's kind of like when you cook a great big holiday meal and you've got 10 different dishes. There's always that one that doesn't quite pan out. You know what? It's still okay. You cooked it, you served it, you provided it, people ate it. That's what we got to do. All right, have a quality day. And if I can, I'll get with you next week.